Have you ever stood up from your chair and felt like your legs weren't quite there to catch you? Like they hesitated, just for a second? Maybe you brushed it off. "Oh, I must have stood up too fast," you said. Or, "It's just old age, nothing serious." But deep down, something didn't feel right. Or maybe it wasn't you, it was someone close to you. A parent. A partner. Someone you've known your whole life, once full of strength and energy. Now, they hesitate before getting up. They hold on to walls. They avoid stairs. They sit more than they move. And little by little, it becomes harder for them to get around. The strong legs that carried them through life, raising kids, working jobs, dancing at weddings, now tremble just walking to the mailbox. You see, this is how it begins. Not with pain. Not with a fall. But with silence. Small changes. Easy to miss. Until one day, you realize, their legs aren't what they used to be. And here's the part that hits hardest. Your legs are usually the first to fade. Not your arms. Not your memory. Your legs. And when they go, your independence starts slipping away with them. The ability to get out of bed on your own. To walk to the kitchen. To shower without help. To drive. To live. But what if I told you that this doesn't have to be your story? What if I told you, there are simple, powerful steps you can take starting today? And 2 everyday foods, backed by science, that can help keep your legs stronger, steadier, and more reliable as you age? This video isn't about fear. It's about freedom. It's about giving you the tools to stay independent, confident, and in control of your body, even in your 70, 80, and beyond. So, stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, we're diving into why your legs fade first, what's really happening inside your body, the 2 key foods every senior should be eating to support muscle and mobility, and what you can start doing today to stay active and free for years to come. If staying mobile and independent matters to you, or someone you care deeply about, go ahead and comment "strong legs" below. It let me know we're together. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. We're building a caring, informed community, one where aging doesn't mean losing your strength, your joy, or your dignity. Let's get into it. Let's start with something that's more common than you might think. Muscle shrinkage. It sounds simple enough. But it's not just about looking thinner. It's about losing the very strength that holds you up, moves you forward, and keeps you safe. Let me tell you about Joe. Joe was a retired firefighter, tough as nails. Built like a brick wall most of his life. He was the guy you'd call if you needed to lift something heavy, or if there was a fire to put out. But after retirement, Joe slowed down. A little less movement each year. Less walking, more sitting. He figured, I've earned my rest. And he had. But within a year, his wife started noticing the change. His jeans got baggy around the thighs. His calves didn't have the same shape. And then came the stumbling. The longer time it took to stand up. That little pause when he tried to lift himself off the couch. Joe just smiled and said, "It's just old age." But here's the truth. It wasn't just age. It was sarcopenia. That's the medical term for muscle loss that comes with aging. And it starts earlier than most people realize. As early as 50, your body begins to lose muscle mass, especially if you're not staying physically active. And where does it show up first? Your legs. Because they hold the most muscle. Your thighs, your hamstrings, your calves, they're the first to go when movement stops. It doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in slowly. One day, standing feels like effort. The next, stairs feel taller than they used to. And eventually, getting up becomes something you think about, not something you just do. Now, here's the dangerous part. Most seniors think this is normal. They say, "Oh, I'm just getting older," and accept it. But accepting muscle shrinkage without action is like watching a leak in your roof and hoping it doesn't rain. When your muscles shrink, your balance goes. Your reflexes slow down. And the chance of falling, of breaking something, of losing your independence, skyrockets. But there's good news. And I want you to really hear this. You can fight back. Even in your 60, 70, and beyond. It doesn't take hours in the gym. It doesn't take heavy weights or expensive programs. Just 15 minutes a day of movement, gentle strength work like chair exercises, resistance bands, or standing leg lifts, can help you maintain, and even rebuild, the strength you've lost. It's not about becoming a bodybuilder. It's about being strong enough to carry your groceries. To get off the toilet without help. To catch yourself if you slip. To keep walking, freely. So, if you've noticed thinner legs, or if you've felt a bit unsteady lately, don't ignore it. Your body is whispering to you. It's saying, move me. Use me. Keep me strong. But here's the thing. Muscle strength isn't just about how much you move. It's also about what's happening inside the muscle, at a cellular level. Because even with movement, if the muscle isn't getting the oxygen and nutrients it needs, it can still weaken. Let's shift from muscle loss to something that's just as dangerous, and often even harder to notice at first, poor circulation in the legs. Let me tell you about Maria. Maria's in her 70s, and she used to love her garden. It was her happy place, roses, tomatoes, sunflowers, she could spend hours out there, pruning and planting. But something started to change. It began with cold feet. Not just once in a while, but every day, even in the middle of summer. Then came the tingling. A pins and needles feeling in her calves. Then, the night cramps. At first, she just stretched and tried to walk it off. But it kept happening. Sometimes waking her from a deep sleep, clutching at her legs in pain. She figured it was just part of getting older. Old nerves, she'd say with a shrug. But here's the thing, it wasn't just nerves. It was her circulation. And her body was trying to tell her something important. You see, as we age, our blood vessels, especially in the legs, can become narrower and less flexible. And when that happens, blood doesn't flow as easily to the lower half of the body. That's known as poor circulation, or more specifically, peripheral artery disease, PAD for short. What's happening inside is simple but serious. Your muscles, especially in your legs, are being starved of oxygen. And when muscles don't get the oxygen they need, they weaken. They ache. They cramp. Even walking across the room can feel like dragging weights behind you. And here's what's so dangerous, most people dismiss it. They think, it's just part of aging, or, my feet are always cold, and they ignore the signs. But poor circulation can be a red flag, not just for muscle weakness, but for something bigger, heart problems, clogged arteries, and stroke risk. It's not just a leg issue. It's a full-body warning. But here's the hope. Just like with muscle loss, you can take action. Simple, daily actions that make a big difference. Start by getting your legs moving every day. Even a short walk, 10 to 15 minutes, is enough to help push fresh blood into your lower limbs. Massage your legs gently, either by hand or with a soft roller, to stimulate circulation. And try wearing compression socks. They're not just for the hospital. They gently squeeze the legs, helping blood flow more efficiently upward. Little habits, done consistently, can help restore your legs' natural strength and warmth. And if you're feeling tingling, cramping, or constant cold feet, don't wait. That's your body tapping on the window, trying to get your attention. Now, you might be wondering, what fuels this entire system? What keeps your muscles alive, your blood flowing strong, and your legs full of energy. It's not just about movement. It's about what you eat. Because the foods you choose, day in and day out, are either feeding your strength or slowly draining it. Now let's talk about a key issue that often slips under the radar: nutrient deficiency. This one's tricky, because on the outside, everything might look fine. You eat your meals, maybe take a multivitamin now and then, and figure you're doing okay. But what if I told you that even people who think they're eating healthy can still be missing something vital? Let me introduce you to Edna. Edna is 76. Lively, sharp as a tack, and always mindful about her meals. She eats her veggies, avoids fried foods, drinks her water. She's doing all the right things, right? But a few months ago, she started feeling unsteady. Not dizzy, exactly, but wobbly. Her knees buckled slightly when she stood up. She stumbled over small things in the hallway. Her muscles ached more, even when she hadn't done much that day. So, her doctor ran a few simple blood tests. And guess what showed up? Severely low vitamin D. Now here's the thing, Edna thought she was getting enough just from walking outside each morning. But as it turns out, as we get older, our skin loses its ability to convert sunlight into vitamin D. Even with 15 or 20 minutes in the sun, many seniors don't absorb enough. And when vitamin D drops, your muscles feel it first. Why? Because vitamin D is critical for muscle function and nerve signaling. It works hand in hand with calcium to keep your muscles contracting properly and your bones strong enough to support them. Without enough vitamin D, your legs become less stable. You may feel slower, weaker, or just off balance. And here's where it gets interesting. One of the best, most senior-friendly sources of vitamin D isn't fancy or expensive. It's not a supplement in a bottle. It's something you might already have in your fridge. Eggs. Yes, eggs. But not just the whites, the yolk is where the magic lives. Egg yolks are rich in vitamin D, high-quality protein, and healthy fats that support brain and muscle health. They're easy to digest, versatile, and a wonderful option for seniors who may not eat large meals. Scrambled, boiled, or poached, they deliver powerful nutrients in a small, manageable portion. And don't worry about old myths around eggs and cholesterol. Modern research shows that for most people, eggs are perfectly safe and incredibly nourishing, especially in older age. In fact, for seniors looking to protect their leg strength, boost their energy, and maintain balance, 1 to 2 eggs a day can go a long way. But here's something even more exciting. Eggs are just the beginning. There's another food, one that's often overlooked, that has even more power when it comes to rebuilding muscle, fighting inflammation, and improving circulation from the inside out. It's rich in omega-3s. Packed with protein. And it's one of the best natural tools for muscle regeneration after 60. Now, let's talk about something a lot of people silently endure but rarely connect to: leg weakness, inflammation in the joints. Take James, for example. He's 68. Spent most of his life outdoors, rain or shine, walking his dog through the neighborhood every morning like clockwork. But about a year ago, something changed. It started with a bit of stiffness in his right knee, just a little ache going up the stairs. Then the other knee joined in. Soon, getting up from the couch felt like a chore. And that daily dog walk? It stopped. Not because James didn't want to go, but because every step hurt. He figured he was just wearing out. Old joints, he said. But what James was really dealing with wasn't just age, it was chronic inflammation. Here's what's going on beneath the surface. As we age, the cartilage in our joints, the smooth, cushiony material that keeps bones from grinding against each other, begins to thin and wear down. When that cushion goes, inflammation moves in. Your body sends out signals: hey, something's not right. And those signals? They come as stiffness, swelling, heat, and pain. Especially in the knees, hips, and ankles, the major joints that support your legs. And when movement starts to hurt, what do? We stop moving. But that's the real danger. Because once we stop using our legs, the muscles begin to fade. And it becomes a downward spiral. Less movement leads to more weakness, which leads to more pain. Now here's where many people go wrong. They grab painkillers. And sure, those pills might take the edge off for a few hours. But they don't address the root cause, the inflammation itself. So, what can you do? Well, nature has an answer. And it comes straight from the ocean. Salmon. That's right. Salmon isn't just a tasty dinner, it's a healing food for your joints and muscles. Why? Because it's loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, which have been proven to reduce inflammation, not just mask the pain, but actually calm the fire in your joints. Omega-3s work deep in the body, balancing out inflammatory chemicals and giving your joints a better chance to move without resistance. Plus, salmon is packed with high-quality protein, which supports muscle repair, something every senior needs more of, not less. And don't worry, you don't have to eat it every day. Just 2 servings a week of grilled, baked, or canned salmon can bring noticeable changes. It helps your knees feel looser, your hips more stable, and your legs more eager to move again. And if you're not a fan of fish, there are alternatives, like flax seeds, walnuts, or high-quality omega-3 supplements. But salmon remains one of the best all-in-one options for joint health and leg strength. So now we've covered 2 key foods, eggs for muscle and balance. Salmon for joints and inflammation. But let's be honest, food and movement aren't always enough. Because there's one more piece of the puzzle when it comes to keeping your legs strong, steady, and pain-free. It's the part no one talks about. But it could be the difference between standing tall and losing your mobility altogether. And that's where we're headed, next. Now let's talk about something that can feel invisible. Until one day, it nearly knocks you off your feet. Balance. And the nerves that control it. Let me tell you about Margaret. She's 81. Loves baking cookies for her grandkids and puttering around the house with her little radio humming in the background. But lately, she's been tripping. Not big, dramatic falls, but little things. She caught her toe on the hallway rug. Stubbed her foot on the corner of the coffee table. And once, she nearly fell just stepping over the threshold to her back porch. Her eyes are fine. Her hearing's okay. So what's happening? At first, she blamed the rugs. I've always hated that shag carpet, she joked. Then she thought maybe her shoes were the problem. But here's the truth, and it might surprise you. Margaret's real issue wasn't her shoes or the floor. It was her nerves. As we age, the communication line between your brain and your legs can start to get fuzzy. The nerves that tell your feet where to land, how much pressure to use, or when to lift your toes, they don't fire as quickly. Your reflexes slow down. Your sense of where your body is in space, what doctors call proprioception, gets duller. So suddenly, things like turning around too quickly, stepping sideways, or walking over uneven ground, become risky. And when that reaction time fades, even small stumbles can lead to big consequences. Here's what many people get wrong: they blame the furniture. They throw out their shoes. They get mad at their eyesight. But the issue often starts inside, right within your own nervous system. Now, the good news? You can retrain it. Yes, even in your 70, 80, or 90, your nervous system still has what's called neuroplasticity, the ability to adapt and improve. And you don't need fancy equipment or a gym membership. You just need a few minutes a day. Try this: stand next to a wall or a sturdy chair, and lift one foot off the ground. Hold it there for 10 seconds. Then switch. That's it. Or walk slowly across the room, placing your heel directly in front of your toes. Like you're on a tightrope. It feels silly at first, but this trains your brain and legs to work together again. Even gently tapping your foot side to side, or practicing shifting your weight from one leg to the other while brushing your teeth, these small moments retrain those nerve pathways. Balance is a skill. And like any skill, it gets rusty when ignored, but sharper with practice. Because when your balance improves, so does your confidence. You walk taller. You move freer. And most importantly, you reduce your risk of dangerous falls. Now, we've talked about shrinking muscles, poor circulation, silent nutrient deficiencies, painful inflammation, and declining nerve connection. These are the 5 quiet signs that your legs might be fading faster than you think. But knowledge, my friend, is power. And now that you understand why these changes happen, you're already ahead of the game. Let's talk about the emotional side of all this. Because this journey isn't just physical. It's personal. It's deeply human. Watching someone lose strength in their legs isn't just hard. It's heartbreaking. You remember when they used to walk right beside you. Quick, steady, full of life. Maybe it was your spouse, once dancing with you in the kitchen. Maybe it's your parent, who never needed help with anything, until now. Then slowly, it begins. First, it's needing a hand to get up from the couch. Then, holding onto the railing with both hands on the stairs. One day, they say, "You go ahead. I'll catch up." And before long, they're asking for help just to make it to the bathroom. And it hurts. Because it's not just the legs fading. It's their freedom. Their independence. Their sense of self. But here's what I want you to hear, and hold close, this doesn't have to be a story of loss. Recognizing these signs early. Understanding what's happening beneath the surface. That's not fear. That's power. Because now you know what to look for. You know what to do. You can act before it's too late. You can help your loved one, and yourself, take back control. You see, this isn't about aging gracefully in theory. It's about aging powerfully in real life. Maybe it starts with something simple, serving scrambled eggs for breakfast a few more times a week. Swapping red meat for a piece of grilled salmon. Taking a walk to the mailbox every morning instead of only when the bills come due. These aren't huge changes. But they stack up. And over time, they mean getting out of bed easier. They mean one less fall. They mean one more year of dancing in that kitchen. Don't underestimate the power of small, steady steps. Because your legs are more than muscle and bone. They've carried you through every season of your life. They've stood for your beliefs, chased after kids, held you up through grief, and knelt beside your bed in prayer. They deserve your care. Your attention. Your love. It's never too late to start strengthening them. Never too late to nourish them. Never too late to honor what they've done for you, and help them keep doing it. So, if you've noticed even one of these signs, don't wait. Make one small choice today. Just one. Because what you do now could mean everything tomorrow. Let's take a moment to recap the journey we've just taken together. The 5 early warning signs that your legs are beginning to fade aren't always loud or obvious, but they matter deeply. 1. Muscle shrinkage, when strength quietly slips away. 2. Poor circulation. When oxygen and blood stop flowing freely. 3. Nutrient deficiencies, when your body lacks the tools to stay strong. 4. Joint inflammation, when every step starts to hurt. 5. Nerve decline, when your balance falters and reaction time slows. And the 2 powerhouse foods that can help rebuild, repair, and restore. Eggs, rich in protein, vitamin D, and healthy fats. And salmon, a goldmine of omega-3s for joints, muscles, and inflammation control. Small foods, with big impact. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these signs have you noticed, in yourself, or in someone you care about? Have you ever felt your legs slowing down, your balance shifting, or your energy fading? Share your story in the comments below. Because your words could be the reason someone else gets the help they need. And if you found something helpful in this video, something that made you pause, reflect, or feel a little more in control, give it a like so others can find it too. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. We're building a caring space here, filled with real talk, real solutions, and real support for your journey through aging. You don't have to face it alone. So, thank you, for taking the time, for listening with your heart, and for caring enough to stay informed. Stay strong. Stay steady. And stay tuned. We'll see you in the next video, right here, on Elderly Wisdom Guide.